At some point over the next 8 minutes, you are probably going to ask yourself, hey, wait a minute, why isn't this vegetable using video clips this week? Why am I just watching a bunch of screenshots? It's because Aniplex copyright struck my video. I have no idea why. The whole thing was fair use. I never used a clip over 7 seconds. I never even included the audio from the show at any point, and I can only assume they took it down because they're scared of me. Anyway, that's the reason why you're about to enjoy a PowerPoint this week by yours truly. All right, back to the original video. Hello, and welcome back to Binging Last Season, where I tell you about anime that you can binge from last season while my remaining 2 brain cells fight for dominance in the background. Go get him, Lefty! With all the hype surrounding the follow-up seasons of 3 big-name anime in the summer, it's easy to forget that spring gave us the sequel to one of the most hotly anticipated apparel-based anime of all time. Windbreaker is a series that I very famously and publicly disparaged when it first came out, and the only question I had for season 2 was, is it gonna be as dumb as season 1? And the answer was, duh. Now, as a man with 2, one brain cell, R.I.P. Lefty. I enjoyed this a lot, but it still has some of the main issues that it had in season 1. Like, I'm sorry, but it's difficult for me to take Sakura seriously ever. If they try to have an emotional moment surrounding the main character, it always comes down to, I'm too much of a lone wolf, I don't know how to feel and how to interact with other people. And yes, that's deep for like high school boys. High school boys will probably love this. They'll think it's one of the most introspective things they've ever watched. But me, on the other hand, bro, I just can't take something that edgy seriously. And maybe I could if Sakura was portrayed as a more like dejected and shameful character, but he's not. Most of the time it's played off for laughs when it comes to his lone wolf mentality and his inability to interact with other people. And the other half of the time, it's just like, it's so difficult to get along with others. And it's like, oh God, fucking, I'm not in high school, man. And it's not just Sakura either. In other moments when other characters have to get past their personal issues, they have to do so whilst surrounded by a group of dudes that are just like, hey man, let your feelings out. And it's like, not fucking here, bro. I don't want to have like an emotional powwow in front of a bunch of strangers. Like, I don't blame any of the characters for not wanting to be honest with their emotions when they're surrounded by like 50 dudes that are just like, fucking let it out, bro. It's just awkward and cringe. A lot of the moments that they want me to take seriously, they do tend to be cringe. Almost every emotional moment in this show where it wants to tug at your heartstrings from season 1 well into season 2 is just paired with a little bit of cringe. Until it isn't. I'm putting a minor spoiler block here for a character and a team from the back half of season 2. I'm not going to tell you too much about them or the things that happen. I'm just going to tell you some base details and some moments that surprised me. Now, I have a question for you. Are you stupid? Because I am. All through season 1, they teased the 4 kings of Furin, that's crazy. Anyway, they teased the 4 kings from Furin, and at the end of the season, we actually got to see them. And if you're anything like me, you thought the same thing that I thought, which is, oh, I didn't know there were girls at this school. From what I can tell, Tsubaki is a cross-dresser. Nothing more than that. The guys refer to him as a guy, so that's how I'm going to refer to him. But he's just a cross-dresser. He lives an alternative lifestyle. And the story that they told for his background as to how he got into this alternative lifestyle was really well told. It was simple, don't get me wrong. It's not complex, but it was nuanced. It was a really well told story, and I was surprised. Because I said, oh shit, Windbreaker does know how to tell a good story. It's just most of the time they're too focused on edge to do that. And the other thing that surprised me was the introduction of a new team. Because if you think of the teams we've seen so far, you have the guys who wanted to unite the school and sort of protect their town. You had the devotees of power, and now you have these guys that are poor as shit. At first they come off a little bit strange when they show up and they're talking about going out for barbecue with everybody after this one job, and you go, well, that's a bit of a weird motivation. But as they get into the background of this team, you realize they are like dirt poor, like orphan, like dying on the streets poor. And it's like, whoa, we haven't had this much of a complex team before. Everybody else is fighting because they want to punch shit. And that's like been the primary motivation for everybody. And here's this new team that's just like, if we don't beat the shit out of you guys, we're all gonna starve to death. And it's like, honestly, I'm kind of with them. Now, I'm not saying that made the writing perfect in any sense. Not even in the back half of season 2. There were still issues, but it is a marked improvement from season 1. It's more complex motivations for characters, and it's more than, I'm alone or I need to punch stuff to feel something. It's actually, a real motivation, which, I did praise this show for being caveman unga bunga understand stuff by fighting each other, but a little bit of complexity is very much welcome here. But Windbreaker isn't about stories, it's about fighting and punching stuff. How was the fighting and the punching stuff? How was the fight choreography you're thinking or saying out loud or miming along to the video? It's fucking good, dude. It's Windbreaker. It's been good since season 1. Season 2 is better, especially in the back half. I can tell you honestly, for the fights in the back half, for every single one, I watched it like 5 times. I was going back while I was watching it. I was starting the whole fight over from the beginning after I had already seen it. The fight choreography in season 2 is next level. It is significantly better than season 1, and I know that because I went back and watched season 1 recently. I had a bit of rose-tinted goggles for the fights from season 1 because they were cool, but they were nothing compared to season 2. I also still really like how this show manages its real-time sort of in-universe, because I've said this about season 1. Season 1 happens over the course of like a week. It's only a week, and season 2 is the same. It happens over the course of a week. They are only 2 weeks into the school year, and all of this crazy shit has already happened. And that means as characters progress, they seem to be going pretty slow, but they're going that slow because not a lot of time is passing. There's no 3 months later and they're super jacked now and they got a lot stronger. No, it's a very realistic time progression so far. I'm assuming that's not going to stay the same, but for now, I like that. And lastly, I hated the way that season 1 ended. I hated it with a passion. I know I said that I didn't mind that Dandadan did the same thing, and that's true, but Dandadan has a lot going for it outside of just ending on a cliffhanger. Windbreaker didn't have enough in its corner. It wasn't that special. In season 2, they said, heard you loud and clear, Celery. They had me on a conference call when they were planning out the season. They said, we heard how disappointed you were in us the first time, so now we're just going to tease the next arc a little bit, like a normal fucking anime. Instead of just starting the arc at the end of season 2 for no fucking reason, they just tease it a bit, and I'm glad they did that because now I'm actually excited for the next season without being pissed off at this one. Thank you, anime director. I give it a 9 out of 10. Again, it is not perfect. I can already think of the episodes and sections that I would skip if I rewatched this season, but I love some high quality, semi-realistic fight choreography, and Windbreaker is one of the best to ever do it. That's it for this week's episode. If you're wondering where the Uma Musume video is, I updated the Discord and you only get to know if you join it. Comment RIP Lefty if you're a real one, and I'll see you guys next week.